So about a month ago, me and my buddies, we loaded up the Bronco and went off to go camping at Robbers Cave. Now this place is historically a place where robbers would go to hide out after they would do their bank robberies. Sadly, there was some pretty big storms on the way. And we were like, you know, it's fine. Our tent will probably block the rain. You know, that's what it's supposed to do, right? My father-in-law gave me this massive tent. It has like about 4 rooms in it. We set it up, and sadly, it did not work at keeping the rain out of the tent. So we got completely soaked. And in that tent, I had my Granfors Bruk Axe, and obviously it got soaked as well. But that's not all the bad news. We also had to sleep in this wet tent all night long until the next day we could get a tarp to put over it. In this video, I'm going to show you how to restore a rusty axe and sharpen it back to life. So let's get started. So first off, you're going to need a sharpening puck. This thing has a smooth side and a rough side. This is very important so that you can get the final stages done without having to use something rough. Also, you'll need water for your puck so that you can get it wet. Next, you're going to need a file. This is going to get the bulk of the nicks on the blade. Sadly, this one is kind of dull, so I had to use other methods, but this is the best thing to get it started with. Now here you can see the damage that has been done to this blade. You see the rust, and this is not good because over time it will start to break down the steel. So first off, what I'm going to start doing is getting it off with a steel wool. This is probably one of the best tools I've ever purchased. I've used it for years, and it keeps a really good edge, but if you ever accidentally hit like dirt or something, it'll put a nick in it. Now this is interesting. Here you can see that is the blacksmith's initials that they put in the blade. That's something that Granfors Bruk does with all of their axes. Now here's the vise that I restored. I'm going to put a link to it in the description. But between the handle and the vise, I wanted to put some scrap wood just to protect that handle. So first off, I'm going to get off all of this rust with a steel wool. Alright, so it looks a lot better. Like a little bit of paint came off there, but that's not anything that I'm too worried about. Okay, now here's when I start to use the file. An important thing to know is that it doesn't do anything when you go backwards, it's only when you go forwards. With the file, you're basically getting the bulk of the nicks off before you start doing the fine tuning with the puck. And I like to use a Sharpie so I know where I'm actually grinding, because sometimes it's hard to tell. So you want to do this about 3 times on each side, or until all the nicks are out. This way you'll be sure to have an even grind on each side, because if not, then the blade will be off a little bit. And now the other side. Then after all this work, this happened. And it basically put a giant nick in the blade. At this point you can see that my file's not doing much, and that's because it is dull. So I had to take it over to my grinder and start grinding off the massive nick that I put in the blade. Now I'm using the rough side of the puck. Basically I'm going to do this about 3 times on each side, and you just want to get a even grind each time you do it. So you can even use a Sharpie if you want to make sure that you're grinding in the right spots. And this is a whetstone, so make sure you soak it in water for about a minute before you start using it. Now after doing this about 3 times on each side, I am transitioning over to the smooth side. Alright, now we'll switch sides. Now look at that beauty. We turned this thing into a very sharp axe just by using a file and a puck. And finally, just to get that final sharpen, I wanted to do it on my workbench while looking at the bottom, just to get the very tip of that blade very, very sharp. Alright guys, so I'm pretty sure that we got to a good edge. I don't know if you can see it there, but there's only one true way to find out if it's actually sharp. So let's try the paper test. Ready? There we go. I think it's pretty good. So if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. See you later.